All right, in the last video, we plugged in our text into this template, and now what I'm going to do is stylize it a bit. So I think the best strategy here is I want to add like a background color and some elements that are actually going to be behind the text. So I'm going to take the layer called Your Design and put it below content. And I'm actually going to lock this down just for a moment. You can always lock and unlock things. That keeps you from being able to edit it. So I'm going to go with kind of a yellowish color. So, well, in fact, let me actually switch. Uh, I'm going to look at some images first. So I linked these three resources. There's Unsplash, where you can find free stock images. There's Google Fonts, where you can find what fonts you think might look good. And then there's the Noun project, where you can get vector icons to put into your image as well. This one does require that you sign in, so you can either use like a Facebook or a Google login or just put in your regular email to get access to these. So let's start with the image first. So the idea of the 4-hour work week is just being able to basically work and live anywhere you want in the world. And so I think of like what would be the ideal situation. That would be like living on some island in the Philippines or Thailand or living in Costa Rica or something like that. So I'm going to come up with like beach imagery. So I'm just going to look up beach. And these are all pretty nice. I'm going to go with this one. So I'm going to, well, let me think. I think I'll go with this one since there's so much space up here. So I'm going to right-click, copy image. I'm going to go into Illustrator, and I'm on this layer again. So I'm going to Command V. Again, it's way too big, so I'm going to press S, scale it down, move this into place, and scale that a bit. Now you may need to do a little bit of cropping in Illustrator. And Illustrator does not make this the easiest process. What you do is you take the image and then you have to draw a rectangle over, and it has to be a white rectangle. You have to draw, or whatever shape you want to mask it to, and you draw it on top of it like this. So I drew a rectangle, and then I'm going to switch back to the Move tool, hold Shift, and then click the image itself. And again, if you didn't already open the transparency menu or palette, you'll want to do that under Window, Transparency. You're going to click Make Mask. And what that did is you can see here, there's the image itself, and then there's the rectangle I created, which is acting as a mask. So there's the title. And as you can see, Tim Ferriss gets lost down here. So I'm going to unlock this content layer, and I'm going to click on here and change that to white. Now, right now, all of my text is in Helvetica, either Helvetica Bold or Helvetica Light, which for me it works on almost anything. But I might want to do something a little more interesting for the title. So that's why I'm going to go back to Google Fonts. And I'm going to just I'm going to limit it to serif and sans serif. And for all of these, in fact, I might just do a serif. And I might want something bolder. So if you want a bold text, you can check thickness and then increase that so it shows really, really bold text. And I'm not liking these too much. I'm going to keep that. I'm just going to use sans serif this time and keep it up here. All right, I'm just going to go with this one for the title. So I'm going to click the plus. And then for the subtitle, I'm going to dial this way down. something not quite as thick. This one, I'm going to go with this, Roboto Condensed. Click plus. So now I have the two fonts down here. I accidentally clicked that. And I'm just going to click download. Okay, so here they are. Clicking that to open them. Here's the fonts. And to install the fonts, you just select the fonts and just open them. And then they get installed. And then I'm going to open the other one. Open that. Okay, so now I have Roboto Condensed and Titanium Web. Okay, so I'm going to go back here. Change that to Roboto. No, actually, no, that was Titanium Web. I kind of like the italic one. Or maybe black. I'm just going to go with that. I'm not going to be super nitpicky in this tutorial. Normally I would put a lot of extra time into this, but just so you can get the process, I'm going to call that done. And then for this one, go to Roboto. That one. Okay. And then change this one to Roboto as well. Okay, so that's the book cover, and if I wanted to, for example, to get like a clock icon or something, I would say clock because of like the 4 hours, or maybe like a. See, I like this really simple minimalistic one. So the way you can do this is you click Get This Icon after you sign in. You want to choose Basic Download, click Continue, and then you're just going to say On Website, and then choose Use. SVG. Or there's another way, which is you can just take a screen capture of this, but it's going to have this gray background on it. But I just downloaded this file. Here it is. And what was that called? Noun. Here it is. So I'm going to open this in Illustrator. I'm just going to click on this. Command C, copy it, and then I'm just going to paste this here. I'm going to put that here, just to add a little graphic element. Okay, so lastly, I just want to pick the colors. So I kind of like, I want to actually sample from this image here. So I'm actually going to highlight the text. And then I'm going to click this eyedropper tool. What this does is whatever I click on, it's going to make it that color. So I'm going to pick like a dark blue and then press escape and see how that looks. I could probably go like a little lighter. So maybe something like that. Okay. And then I'm just going to make this one. Now, if I'm going to sample text, I have to hold Shift, because otherwise it's going to sample the font as well. So click that, click this, sample that, and then I'm just going to keep this white, or I might even just sample this light pink. See how that looks. All right, so that is the book title. Now, if you spend a whole lot of time on this, and that's as far as you go, that's fine. But if you're able to get this knocked out and you want to continue on, then the rest of this is going to be pretty much the same process. It's just adding images, changing things, moving them around, changing the color. So hopefully you found this tutorial helpful. What I did is I sampled on these first before I went straight to this. So you might do that first as well. So you would basically, and the reason I like this is I can kind of experiment. So if I want to just make a copy of this, I can copy that over, and then I can just make adjustments with different colors and different images and things like that. So you maybe just start here first, or you can start here. Either way is fine, but you'll just want to save this and then upload it. So I hope that was helpful.